It is mean.
It-
Pfizer CEO said not to worry about it. So
Wait, the Pfizer CEO said not to worry about
he,
money.
yeah, he was like, I wouldn't be concerned about it. So
Didn't he also say not to worry about COVID?
because
Yeah.
they haven't made a shot yet. So once they develop something, maybe give it a
What is
second.
what is this? What does Elon Musk have to say about this?
He's
Dude,
tied up on Twitter. I don't know if he's gave any monkeypox hot takes.
he's on his Twitter BS, that's for sure.
Dude, I love it. He's got some bangers now.
Well, the other day I had tweeted bullish anything Elon Musk does. Dude, 2 hours later, news drops of like him like exposing himself to an employee. I was like, I had to go back to my tweet and I quoted. I said, "That was what I say." Oh,
Spoke too
that ain't
soon.
well.
Yeah, age. I think it like that came out the smear campaign and the stock just like dropped like a rock.
Yeah,
Yeah, my buddy was telling me a conspiracy theory that I feel like is fairly plausible. But anyways, he does this Twitter deal, right? And BlackRock, they own like 4 point something percent or some percent of large percent of Twitter. They got their finger in every single pie. And it was Bill Gates is somewhere involved in there, and he has, big shorts on Tesla, and he pissed Bill Gates off by like tweeting a picture of him, the pregnant man emoji. But anyways, so then all the stuff with the Twitter deal happens, and then I guess someone at BlackRock gets pissed, or who knows, or I guess some force of the media and market they the S&P drops him from the ESG index. So like the
Did.
environmental, social, and green are good.
Didn't Elon
Basically, like to label of Tesla and of the classification of Tesla, and there's like Shell or Exxon or something on it, which is so Elon Musk tweets ESG is bullshit, and then next thing you know, all these like sexual allegations come out, whether I don't know the truth or the falseness, but it's bizarre in the sense he was like, he
The
asked the flight
timing.
attendant that if
Yeah.
for like an erotic massage in exchange for like a horse.
like my theory is that he's like the most powerful, richest troll that's ever lived. And like how trolls are. Like people love, but they also hate trolls. And he is like just so rich and so powerful that he's the best to ever do it. And that's all he's doing is trolling. If you look at his Twitter, he's literally just making fun of people.
And then replying to Twitter
Yeah.
or Tesla customers like, "Oh yeah, you'll get this new software soon."
He's off the rockers, that's for sure. Now, man, how have you guys been? It's we missed last week's episode, but it's all good. Back here with Tabalo, Aaron, Jeremy, myself. So how's everyone doing?
Hey, doing good. Trying to get my head on straight after this past, volatile market. People calling in. I'm just as confused as they are. Trying to separate all the noise and separate, myself to like, okay, it's not all of my life. Can't let that eat at you. So that's where I'm at. I know I'm not the only one who's dealing with that. So all y'all out there who's going through that, feel you for sure.
Yeah, is that a stress mustache you're growing?
It is. I'm
Stress
trying it
dash.
out. I'm trying it out. Got a little caterpillar on my face.
Hey, I did it once. It didn't look too hot, but now I'm just baby face. What about you, T? Doing good?
Dude, yeah, just working, vibing, yeeting. Yeeting and vibing is the easy way to say it. And yeah, just full-time data
Yeah,
and information game.
you'll actually be in Austin this weekend, which is pretty fun because we'll get to see you. It's been a couple weeks, so that's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah. Gotta finish moving stuff out of coops and then just, enjoy the time.
Heck yeah. But yeah, we got a couple things on our agenda. I know, Aaron, you wanted to talk about the Fed minutes, since we already kind of been discussing the market with Elon and like, just how the market's been volatile. Yeah, if you wanted to go ahead and hit on the Fed minutes that were disclosed today, around like 2.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you kind
dropped
of
it
need
to
to throw in
what's
just like a little, I guess, like just let people know what Fed minutes are, for those who don't know, and then just go ahead
yeah.
and dive into it. Because I mean, me personally, I barely know what they are, and like I'm in the industry, so it'd probably be good to let the people who aren't in the industry know.
Hey, for sure. And just a quick disclosure, guys, throughout this discussion today, everything is our opinion. We're not part of any corporation. Everything here, do your due diligence and research. None of this is advice. But yeah, in a basic sense, Fed minutes, that's like any other meeting minutes. This is just what really they talked about at the Federal Reserve. All you really need to know about this in a basic sense is these are guys that set the interest rates, and that kind of affects the overall economy as a whole. They've explained it as your five. So the guys had a meeting earlier this month, I think on May 4th or 5th, where they actually came out with that 50 basis point hike, which 0.5% for all intents and purposes. Basically, just the details came out, indicating, they're, like they mentioned, still on track to continuing to increase it this year. I think the next one's coming up next month. Some talks about policy may have to move past, quote, neutral into restrictive territory. Not really sure what that means. If you guys have any idea what that means, speak up. I just think they're just going to be tightening down on inflation and, continuing to take this where it's going.
That's definitely interesting language they bring about into the market. I would want to give historical context and maybe what that literally means, because remember, the Federal Reserve, their mandate is tame inflation and maximize employment. That's their mandate. That's their job, and they do that with the set of monetary policy and tools and mechanisms they provide. But the important part is you want to understand how this central banking system works. You have to know what's happening in Europe and Japan. So Japan is one of the first big negative interest and big sovereign debt issues that happened in the 90s. And they had a big debt collapse. And they've basically been having, sort of a negative interest rate or, quantitative easing the longest. And then even Europe, has a negative interest rate territory. So these have negative interest rates on their monetary policy. So that means like you lose money saving money. So if you're saving cash, the bank will take money from you. They just take, because it's negative interest. So yeah, so it makes no sense as to why that's even a thing, but that's kind of the global monetary system under the dollar order, that they have to have these specific spreads and yields that they have to hold with the dollar. So when they say restrictive territory, to me, it means that they're going to tighten harder, and they're kind of just saying, hey, get the Vaseline ready, because yeah, because they're gonna really pinch us. And across markets, what the Federal Reserve does, because they own the dollar, is they're contracting the dollar supply. So when they do that, they're requiring more chunk for any piece of debt, and that sucks money out, and it makes people pay, and it's supposed to it's like a credit tightening in a credit cycle.
That was like a more, I guess, because my idea is maybe they're using this language. I know there's been a few articles, a few news statements coming out that our dollar is about to be reaching par with the euro dollar. Now, if that happens, the U.S. dollar is like the universal dollar, correct? Am I wrong to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, our leaders here in the United States don't want our dollar to be equal anything to other countries' dollars. So I was thinking, what's going to happen if the euro dollar ends up becoming the superior dollar of the universe? Is that something that the United States is trying to prevent?
So, it depends how I don't know. I think my macro thesis, and we may share the views, is that the monetary world order is shaping to like position China as a larger role, and just they are arguably the ones who could eat the burden and responsibility, but I'm sure that it's not exactly at that point yet, and that could happen somewhere down our lives. or decades, or faster if things like we're seeing now get worse or more chaotic and destable. Or it
So
could be a basket of money. But the euro dollar is like 300 or 200 trillion. It's a large amount of trillions of dollar denominated debt offshore. So from New York to London. So the euro dollar is how the rest of the world has their dollar debt denominated in through that
Yeah.
market.
okay, well, would that be like a negative thing though for the United States? You think in the long run, maybe?
If
Like,
that market collapse, then it's like 300 or whatever trillion of dollars of debt in the rest of the world that instead it would shift on that kind of shadow accounting they do offshore, it would ultimately fall in the US Treasury. So it'd like flip the debt to GDP ratio
oof.
from I think it's at like 130% to like 300%, just like if that sovereign debt issue manifested.
Those are some
And,
big numbers.
yeah.
I don't want that.
And I feel like that concern is also kind of independent of the inflation issue. I mean, like, yeah, it's correlated, but you not only have to control the amount of money that's flowing in the system, which we're seeing through the tightening of this, but then you also have to worry about, like you're talking about, with the US being the kind of reserve currency for it. So you don't want to tighten it too much, hurt your economy, your GDP goes down, you don't have enough, pulling power in the world, but you also don't, it's a balance is what it is. And uh, they're kind of stuck in this point that they can have to continue doing so, and then a lot of people are going to get caught when the tide rolls out. They're going to be swimming naked, and that's what my concern is. You have to pull up enough, but not too much. So interesting coming months. I know they're coming out. I think next month they're going to do another 50 basis points. Going to continue to do so. They haven't talked about anything higher than that.
Is that confirmed? I know they were talking about for sure doing it like 3 or 4 more times throughout the year, so that one is confirmed.
Yes, that's what the minutes said. So unless they come out with a surprise one, which I really hope that they don't. Everybody's currently it's currently priced in that they're going to continue to do that. So
Yeah, can't be
And-
good. Just keep doing it.
And that, that's a good segue into the stress management stuff you wanted to talk about, Aaron, and about,
hmm
knowing the market, these are forces beyond our control.
mhm.
And, to even just have the foolish, like human thought that we can control these things is just not
Yeah.
true. And then you go back to what we can control, and it's just, mind, body, soul, and, stuff within, we really can't control more than that.
And I do want to say when it comes to the market currently and how volatile it is and like everything that's going on, nobody on this earth knows exactly what's going on with the market. Nobody can time the market. Nobody can predict the market. So everything that you're reading, everything that you're hearing, whatever we're saying, it can all mean something. But at the end of the day, nobody truly knows. And you should always keep that in mind and do everything that you do with a grain of salt.
Right. A lot of coulds and woulds, not
Yeah.
a lot of wills. And I think with stress management, part of that comes with risk management as well. And at least being in the business, I see that people will base their entire emotional state well-being off of how it moves for the day. And you can't do that. I think we've touched on in a previous episode. This is like a side thing that you're focusing on, whatever your calling is, and then this is just a side thing that you're also stacking up to help you and grow also. So like I mentioned, it's that risk tolerance that you're not over leveraging yourself, and also having a plan that when these unexpected events come, it's not, taking you off the path and taking you out of focus, that it's that big of a stress.
Yeah, really another way to lower those like stress levels when it comes to the market is just having that plan and mapped out for you, that what you like goals you want to reach in the coming months, the coming years,
Mhm.
within your accounts or within anything in life really. But again, setting those risk management, so setting stop limits if you need to do that. Just if you're day trading and trying to time the market, obviously that's super hard to set your risk limits. So maybe do less trades. I don't know. Like, but yeah, really watching out for what you're doing in the market, setting those risk tolerance levels, and knowing knowing your end goal and keeping on track and not losing sight of things, even though how crazy the world is right now.
And as Jeremy's saying, it's to be honest, my view, I have a very sort of militant view of the market. I see it kind of like a battlefield, because the market, you think of it in this economics and finance term, but really it's about survival, and security is kind of more of my mindset. And when you realize that, you're like, okay, the dollar number in your accounts isn't exactly what keeps you alive, at least if you're at a certain self-sustenance level that you have portfolios. If you're still on that sort of, rise the income to save game, have your rainy day, and then just have your war chest for emergency. This, it's like the meme we tweeted, for every 2 bananas you make, save a banana for a rainy day or rainy days. And it's that simple. And then you kind of get to the dimensionality of, okay, we need food. How are we going to get food? We know that our lives are ruled by dollars. We're only guaranteed death and taxes, but we have to know that really it's about production and value. And, where are you going to get corn from? Do you have a garden? Do you have things like that? If the dollar, what happens if you can't log into your bank and get your dollar? What happens? You try your credit card swipe, the internet's down because of cyber war or cyber Pearl Harbor, or, there's infinite things that could happen, but it's just getting grounded and, feeling that sense of security is not easy, but, it's a refinement of value and production and just,
But it's just looking
home.
after your resources, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I like the point that you were making of, I know a lot of people our age are still in that accumulation stage as they work and they're just beginning their careers. It's okay to, every so often look at not only your stock portfolio, but everything else, like where you keep your money and things. Are these in vehicles that are best working for me as I continue to grow them? So you can't just dump it into one thing and just fire off and forget about it. Like, as the interest rates go up, it may be better, instead of keeping it in stocks, putting in different vehicles with higher and safer interest rates. So it's always a process that you always need to look back and redefine. And yeah, like you mentioned, I do see that as a battlefield as well, that you have to always constantly be having those steps ahead of, all right, where are we going? And then you may need to call an audible along the way.
Yeah, and then that can kind of segue into some of the things I wanted to talk about, and leaning on your peers, leaning on your friendships or people close around you, and viewing your closest friends as not just friends and as like homies or girlfriends or whatever they are, like the closest people to you, not just as whatever they are to you, but view them as like an asset as well, and as like a team player, teammate. And you're not on this journey alone. The journey of life is long. You're going to encounter different problems, different people throughout your journey. And when in doubt, you should be able to lean on the people closest to you. And so my theory is that your closest friends should be your teammates as well. And the reason why is just because maybe this person, that whoever it is, they have a skill set that you don't have, that they can either teach you or provide in some way to you to have you exponentially excel in life in some aspect. Whether that's, say you're starting a company and you need designs, you don't know how to run Photoshop or a video editing software, but your best friend does. Well, how about you bring him onto the team? You explain to him your goals with what you're doing. You explain to him like, hey, like you could help and like do this, like it'd be awesome. Or if you can just teach me. And I see all too often too many people try and do things on their own. I see all too often too many people that have very good skill sets just keep them to themselves and not even try to pass them on to their friends. Or I see too often other people not even trying to support their friends when their friends are doing cool things. That really pisses me off. That's a whole nother subject. But but at the end of the day, it's like when when you leave the nest, when you leave home from wherever you grew up and you're in a different city, your family's far away. Yeah, you can call them, you can FaceTime them, but in reality, who's 5 minutes away? Who's 10 minutes away that you can actually like link up with, express your stresses, express your attitude in life right now to them. You can bounce ideas. Like I consider you guys my team. Y'all are very close-hearted to me, very good friends of mine. So I view y'all as a team. Now we don't get to see each other all the time, but we're still in communication pretty much every single day, and we're able to call each other out if we need to call each other out. And we're also able to help each other out in different aspects when we need help. For Tabalo, he's super, super smart when it comes to computer things or like creating websites. He helped us create a website. He's helped us do a lot of things with Vibulent, which we're super grateful for. And it's like he literally did that because I'm sure because we're his friends, and two, he has those assets that he's able to provide to people that he chooses to provide them to. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I just don't understand why other people in this world don't do that. Because I know me personally, like, I would say one of my strongest abilities is just to be able to talk to anybody. And not a lot of people have that. And that's something you can't really share, like skill set wise. But if someone needed me to go up to somebody and say something, I can be that guy, and like with no questions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what you're bringing up is the sacred value of family, friends, and community. We were talking about this in book club, Vu, with Drake, but he was talking about how back in the day, in local communities, you had to run into each other every day. You had to deal with each other every day. You couldn't just block people off or just turn people off. And I remember telling my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, if you have an issue with the bread man, you don't want him to stop selling you bread. Or,
You got to be able to go to war with your best friends or teammates. Like if you got a company and the 4 leaders aren't clicking, that company's not going to click. Now, if they're clicking and those 4 guys are ready to lay their lives on the line and just get after it and make sure that everyone below them too is getting after it and making sure that they know everything that they need to know and they're providing the assets they need to provide to teach whatever they need to teach, that company's going to go long and far. So like what I wrote out the other day, it was like, you are what you surround yourself with. And surrounded by a group of individuals motivated and ready to draw their weapons at any given time will spark that awakening in you to strive for greatness, not just for yourself, but for everyone that's in that circle overall.
Dang, that's some tribal stuff.
It's true. And it's like I said, not enough people are doing that. I have a lot of close friends that I do consider like close friends, but I wouldn't consider them teammates just because they're too sucked up doing their own thing and they don't even want to try to help other people.
Why do you think that? Like, what do you think the current person in society now
I think
that's
it's
causing that?
just the way of society and the way people grow up, go to school, get a job, work this 9 to 5 and only work this 9 to 5 and grind it to where you're leveling up in that 9 to 5. And so those close friends, I do see they're just stuck in their jobs. They're not trying to break out of those 9 to 5s. I tell everybody the ability to create is the ability to break free. And I'll tell anybody that. Now, you can think whatever you want when I say that, but it's the truth. If you want to have your own company, well, guess what? You got to create something. If you want to be a boss and have your own employees, well, guess what? You got to create something. You can't break free out of the 9 to 5 unless you are creating something that's valuable to other people. And I think those individuals who refuse to try to step out of, I would guess, their comfort zone to help their friends out or to even try to create something, I believe it's just a society thing that they're just stuck in that rat race, that they just don't know how to get out, or they haven't been spiritually woke to what's actually really going on.
I would even argue that they've been conditioned to do that and kind of have a fear of going out on their own and failing. I think that's also what's holding them back. Not only that isolationist, selfish attitude, I don't know, maybe not selfish, but closed-mindedness, but then, hey, if I do create and launch something and share with my friends, this product or business could fail. And I
Well,
think that's also what's holding people back.
you also got to keep in mind supporting a friend's dreams really costs nothing to you. If one of your friends comes to you and says they have an idea or they have a goal that they have like are setting 2-3 years from now, you can shit on them, or you can be like, hey, like that's awesome, man, like I'm gonna check in on you in a month, see what you're up to, and that's free. Now that's not like you supporting them like physically, financially, or anything in that way, but you are there and you're motivating them by just reaching out to them by like, hey, I remember you were telling me about this. What's it looking like now? It's been a few weeks. And now that person, if they didn't do anything, they're gonna either tell you I didn't do anything, and then but maybe you reaching out, that's gonna light that spark under their ass, so they do something. Or if they did do something, maybe they're like, oh, someone noticed. Now let me just keep going. So supporting a friend really costs nothing, especially now with social media. It's free to retweet things, it's free to share things, and it's free to like things. It's free to shout out things. That's all free. So anybody who tells you that they can't support you because they don't got money or they don't got the time, you can literally just tell them fuck you, because I'm being dead serious, because it's so simple. And I mean, with what we're doing now, I've had people. I shoot this everywhere across all my friend groups. We all have different friend groups, and I shoot this everywhere. Now there's this one friend group that always shares, helps, and like, hey, that's cool. Now there's another friend group that literally just ignores, thinks we're just trolling, doesn't really think it's that cool. And I tell that friend group straight up, like, oh, y'all laughing now. Like you really are laughing now. Like it's so amusing, and this is why I still talk to y'all, because I can't wait to when I'm like up here and y'all are still working y'all's 9 to 5s. And it sounds cruel to say that, but it's like, okay, your haters are your biggest motivators. Yes, that's cliche, but doesn't it feel good when you accomplish something that somebody wasn't supporting you in, and then you can come back and be like, I mean, you don't have to come back and be like, haha, fuck you, but you can be like, hey man, like I did what you said I couldn't do.
Yeah, the results and reputation speak for itself, and that's just beyond words. That's beyond, that's that deeper respect that, especially on the masculine side, we long respect. It's a weird part of our lives. We're in our mid-20s because we have a lot of friends that, we call close friends because we share a past and we share an experience. And this is sacred, and all this stuff is a part of our tribe and culture and heritage. Don't get me wrong, but it's also, since we're young, in our shared past is, our trials and tribulations, or, debauchery and degeneracy as, state school boys, or whatever it is, or just high school, hooligan stuff. We're full of that. But what's more important is when we look forward and we see how we kind of build our friendships to the future, just as you're saying, as teammates, it's who do we share a future vision with? What friends do you share a vision with?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you march forward with the shared vision, knowing, hey, I don't need, I'm not here, we're not here to fight and compete. We're here to cooperate, grow, and, reduce
Exactly.
suffering by, having higher level and sharper level capabilities and objectives. And we can't ignore, that's one thing we have to mature and evolve, just, as a society.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I mean, you're only going to go as far as you let yourself go. I mean, obviously you can go super far by yourself, but why not have people to tag along with, who wants to be lonely their entire life? Who wants to create things by themselves? And that kind of comes with like, finding those hobbies and goals that you have and running with them. And when you're running with them, keep with it. And the people who see you do that are going to end up supporting you. That can be with anything, whether you're training for something, you got a new career, you're creating a new business. To the people who don't want to support right away, as long as you keep grinding and as long as you keep showing up every day, building that brick by brick by brick, and eventually the house is built, those people are going to realize that, and they're going to want to jump on board. And at some point, it's going to be too late for them to jump on board. And that's not your fault. You can bring them on board still, but maybe they're going to think, hey, we were friends, remember? Like, shouldn't I be up there with you? No. It doesn't work like that. It's like, it's just those things. Like it's like once you build the house, people are gonna want to come in, and if you let the wrong people in, they can tear that house down. Now, if you build that house with that strong team and those individuals stay at that house and y'all are all there, and it's just more secure, it's more functioning, and you're able to just exponentially just keep going up.
Yeah, that that segues into, are we going to support Kim Kardashian as the new chief taste consultant at Beyond
Ah,
Foods?
I don't know.
am a full yes.
Part of the team when Beyond Foods was made. That's so for people who don't know, they're the people who make the fake burgers, correct? Like the fake protein burgers.
Yeah, the
meat,
lab
quote
grown.
unquote meat.
Yeah, the quote unquote lab meat that they're selling to like In-N-Out Burger and like these burger joints, to where they come out with like a veggie burger or a non-protein or some weird shit, I fully don't support those burgers, but
in my eyes, it's kind of textbook disinformation to even just call it like meat,
it is.
If you just go by definitions and, just common sense, like, meat is a carcass of a flesh.
So
From the earth of a living animal.
It's not a laboratory chemistry project.
I mean, is Kim
Or is
Kardashian like a vegetarian or like?
I don't know, dude. Is that what they put in her butt? The freaking Beyond Meat?
That's got her butt so big they injected Beyond
The
Meat in
booty
there.
cheeks are Beyond Meat, so it's like.
Oh,
But
not,
it's.
yeah.
I mean, smart move by that company, because she's a huge superstar, not just like in the United States itself, but worldwide. So, I mean, just having her name associated with your company, that's bringing in revenue no matter what. I mean, this girl, you take a picture with her and you're going to get, like, if I took a picture with her and put it on my fucking profile, I'd probably get like 500 likes, and I average like 100 likes. So it's just.
Oh, dude, you get like 500,000.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I was like, that's a huge asset for that company. But was she part of that team when it was coming up? Like, does she know anything actually about that company? How is she going to, I mean, she's a smart woman. Don't get me wrong. I see the businesses she runs, like to do what she's doing, to be as famous as she is, that's got to be a stressful life, and to be able to handle it the way she is.
It's a big partnership.
Yeah, it's definitely a partnership. I mean, I really doubt she knows the full ins and outs of the business. You know what I mean?
Oh no, but I mean, you got to give it to the family. They've been at the top of that social game, been able to do the TV shows.
Yep.
They are
at
the culture.
forefront of it. They
Yeah.
are the culture. They're the American royal family. As much as I hate that.
American royal family, and kind of like the American dream, kind of, that everybody's trying to shoot for. Mansions, fast cars.
No, yeah, the single biggest cause of mental illness for Instagram girls, probably from that family.
I mean, Instagram definitely causes mental illness. I mean, for me personally, like, I'll get on there and there's some people I'm following that are just absolutely nuts when it comes to like what they're doing training wise. Like, my algorithm is tattoos, training, cars, and then plants, and then of course you get some bikini pictures.
Hey, that explore page will expose a man.
Exactly, but
You want to see what a dude's about?
mine's
Go look
looking
at it.
And a woman.
And a woman, that is true.
True.
Mine is looking wholesome right now though, but like, I see people on there who are just doing the most bizarre, crazy things, and sometimes I get jealous, and then I have to take a step back and I'm like, did I just get jealous because I swiped through my phone and saw some weird shit and was like, I wish I could do that? The thing is, I can do that. I just have to work to do that. Like, it's little things like that.
There's even fighting against your AI, your algorithm, and it's just doing chaos. It's just like, just short firing, and they're like, oh, what? Okay, he likes cricket now in India.
Cricket, that's a weird game, that's for sure. But yeah, boys, I think, Tabala, you wanted to hit on something else. I had wrote down some Golden Stash things. I saw you posted.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, just one piece was just Goldman Sachs is getting data about they're saying the liquidity for SPX futures, and futures is a big kind of derivatives market, is improving slowly. So yeah, what do you do with that information? What I do with it is I integrate it into my thinking. I'm saying, okay, Goldman Sachs is telling people that liquidity in derivatives market, which is the whole shadow spaghetti monster Warren Buffett warns everybody about, is getting better. So, but to be honest, I kind of feel like America's in like a stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I don't know what's gonna heal it. You can look at all these tactical small data points or charts here or there, but what matters is the story, and what matters is your beliefs and perceptions and reality ultimately. So,
And keep in mind that all great empires do come to an end. They can last thousands, millions of years, but at one point they will come to an end. I actually was reading one thing where I was talking about how every great empire that there was before their downfall, the society started worrying about gender neutral stuff, worrying about people's sexualities, worrying about things along those natures. And if you look at the United States, that's exactly what we're all in huss and fuss about right now.
And the fall of the Roman Empire, the money got diluted, so there's less silver in the metal they used in their coins. It got diluted, and
Right.
that's inflation.
Lots of parallels in the Roman Empire for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey everybody, that was the Yeet and Vibe podcast. I believe it was episode 5. Who knows? I'm gonna stop counting at this point. But again, my name is Jeremy. We got Aaron here and Tabalo. Do y'all have any goodbyes? Y'all just want to say pieces or deuces? What's good?
Yeah, quick shout out, guys. Just be mindful of your consumption of social media this week. Take time to, leave your phone inside, go outside, sit in the sun for 15 minutes. You'll feel a whole lot better, I promise.
Mm-hmm. See?
All I got is yeet the future and vibe your reality, and come to the party barge if you know who we are.
Yes, sir. Follow us on everything and feel free to DM us if you got any questions. And we're always here to support you if you're just stressed out in life as well. Deuces.
Bye.